What is this? A battery video? On this channel? Shocking, I know! Hopefully not literally. So it is currently the beginning of January 2026. Last Christmas, so 12 and a half, 13 months ago, I still had these set up as 48 volt batteries, and I had them all charged right to the top before I took everything apart and took the isolation transformer and the Multiplus 2 down to the boat. If you recall, I was planning to launch last year. Didn't happen. So since then, these batteries have been sitting with the BMSs turned off for about a year. Now, I am hoping like hell that I'm going to splash this year. And one of the things I need to do is get these things topped back up and get them ready to take down to the boat, because the battery box is almost done, which will hopefully be a video not too far from now. This is all a distraction, obviously, while the circuit boards are still being done, though I'm into the programming stage, so I'm not sure how much I'm going to make videos of that until I've got something active to show. So we're back to more boat stuff for the time being. Now, one of the questions I have is, I did a test. If you recall, I had a video where one of the cells dropped down to 2 volts and I wasn't sure if I destroyed it. I had left the batteries with the BMSs on for like 6 months, and I wasn't sure how much that was going to discharge them, and it turned out the answer was a lot. So this time, with no load, the only thing that would have drawn down the cells is their own internal self-discharge. I have here enough cells to make 6 3/4 48 volt batteries. If you recall, I am dropping the total number of batteries down to 5, plus the 12 volts. So 5 280 amp hour, 48 volt propulsion bank batteries. And then the 6th battery is going to be, what was originally going to be the batteries I got from Shenzhen Basin. The 16 cells was going to break up into 2 560 amp hour, 12 volt batteries running in parallel. I'm now not going to need 16 of these cells. I had hoped that I would be able to use them for the outboard, but really that's like 70 kilograms. I can't lift that in and out of the dinghy, so it's not really viable. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, before I start setting this up as a monster 12 volt battery, I'm going to go through and check all the individual voltages. And the 16 that are the lowest are going to be flagged for not going on the boat for the actual sailing. I'll probably take some of them and use them as spares on the boat in case any fail. But space on the boat is limited, so I don't know what I'll do with the boat, with the cells I don't actually take on the boat. That's a problem for future Maddie to solve. After I've identified which ones have the lowest voltage, I'm going to top them all up anyway. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to be terribly exciting, and I probably won't make you watch. I have, let me show you, every single cell has a letter and number on it. Now, the A's are duplicated for the Basen Shenzhen cells, but you can see they're spaced differently. So I'm just going to call them like B, A, or whatever. Point is I can uniquely identify every one of these cells. And I'm now going to put that in a spreadsheet. Isn't this exciting? It's so fun. Kill me now. I'm not going to make you watch me measure these. I am going to cut and put it on screen here. But after this edit, I have to actually do the measurement first. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. Bam! There it is, it's done. And there's the Kepler's arse. Buddy, don't show the internet your bum. I'm actually really happy. There's nothing too terribly unexpected. I was checking, it was episode 87 when I found that one of the cells was down to 2 volts. That was Pack F cell 12, which is currently sitting at 3.326, which is the lowest of all of the cells. So that was the one I was already expecting to be garbage. Well, not garbage, significantly reduced in its capacity. And the other 2 cells, which I'm showing here, they were showing as low before. And those were, let's see, C11 and E5. There are 3 other cells that look to be a little bit low, E11, C6, and F4. So right there, I've got 6 cells that I'm not going to take. Now, for those of you who are actually looking close at these numbers, you might notice that the A pack is across the line lower, and the BA pack, the Basen ones labeled with A, are all a fair bit lower and all over the place. It kind of makes sense because I didn't charge those by themselves. They were being used on the boat for the trip home, so I'm not going to treat those as particularly bad. But I know which 6 I'm going to leave out for sure. Then once they're all together, the 5 packs, which should be made out of now all known good batteries, I will do a full charge and discharge, see if any of the cells are weak, and if they are, I'll swap them out before I do the final assembly and start sailing. Now, let's build this. Also, while I was doing this, I calculated how big this battery is going to be as a single 12-volt battery. It is going to be a 27P 4S 7,560 amp hour as a single battery. I love doing stupid things. This is going to be fun. Well, no, it's not, because I have to put this whole thing together and do one charge and then tear it all apart again. But you are, if you're watching this, you're probably a nerd and you know what I mean. Okay, lordy, this is going to take a long time to assemble, and I'm going to have to do a mixture of the solid bus bars and my flexible bus bars, because I don't have enough to turn these into one big parallel install. Also, while I was doing this, I found 2 batteries that, despite laying them all down and double checking them, I still had their polarities backwards. So I'm going to do another polarity check. Do you really want to watch me do that? No, I don't think so. That's just going to be me assembling a battery. And if you really want to see me do that, I got plenty of old videos where I'm doing that. I'm going to turn off the camera and put some music on and start putting this together. So between that last cut and now, I had hoped it would be a few hours. It's been 3 weeks. Probably a little over 3 weeks. Sorry about that. I got relatively unwell. Nothing too serious. I started on some meds that did not go well with me. Got that sorted out. I'm back. I tell you that to explain why there's been such a delay since the last video. That had not been planned. But it has also not been a fruitless period of time. I was really not clear-headed, so I didn't want to touch the PCBs, I didn't want to touch the batteries because of, you know, big, bangy, sparky, expensive noises. So instead I started learning React and Node.js, and I've started making progress on the user interface for the boat. A new project that is already up on GitHub called Muirgen. I am going to talk more about that in another video though, so let's stop there and get back to building a 27P 4S 12-volt battery. Tell me this isn't the most ridiculous damn thing you've seen. Oh wait, okay, Pyro had his, 100 lead acid batteries for massive current dumps. The way he was using, yeah, okay, you know what, I didn't beat that one. But in my own special way, this is mad, and I love it. So, what I had to do is scrounge around the house, every last rigid bus bar that I could find, all of the flexible bus bars that are going to go on the boat, rejected bus bars that had slightly higher internal resistances, experimental bus bars, everything I could get my hand on just to assemble this. Because when you're building a series battery, you're just going doot, 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 doot. So you're only using half as many bus bars. When you want to do a big ass, I think we can say that. When you want to do a big ass parallel battery, you have to run a conductor all the way up. Now, if this was a battery that was going to actually stay this way, you'd get a long copper bar and you would drill holes into it, drop it on, and bolt it in. Why would you even build this? This is so ridiculous. So anyways, off camera, I did all of that. Oh lordy, my fingers hurt. And I also decided, those who were around back in the early days of the battery build remember that I experimented with some Nylock, Nylocks, basically bolts that have a little piece of nylon inside that friction interferes with the threads as you tighten them on, and that idea behind that is any kind of vibration, it's prevented from backing off by the friction of the nylon. The problem is, well, first of all, once you take it off and put it back on, it's already lost some of its effectiveness, and as time goes on, the more you release and reinsert it, it gets less and less effective in its job. The other thing is, if I need to do any repairs at sea, it's so much easier to be able to just, where's my wrench? I'll show you. Let's do a visual demonstration. Okay, so let's pretend I need to take this battery out. I just need to break the tension, and then I can take the rest of it off with my finger. Now repeat that for an entire pack of 16 cells, that's 32 nuts. With the Nylock, I have to ratchet, 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 ratchet all the way off, and then all the way back on again. I'm saying this almost like I'm being lazy, and I'm kind of feeling like I'm being lazy as I explain this. If you hear rattling, it's because May's playing with that bolt. I just really don't want to deal with that hassle. So I went to Spanauer and I bought some of the standard nuts. Now, I wanted stainless, and very much to my surprise, Spanauer didn't have these in stainless. These are M6 nuts with a 10mm bolt pattern. So these are zinc-plated steel, which is not good. I think the ones that came with it are stainless. So I'm going to go online before I get it in the water and see if I can find M6 stainless 316 bolts. I mention that because some of you are incredibly observant and are probably going to point that out and write in the comments, why are you using zinc-plated steel? You're right, it's a bad idea. But again, this is only temporary. Wardrobe change. When you're dealing with this many cells, one of the things that's I found surprisingly hard, and maybe this was a sign that I was starting to get sick because my head just wasn't working properly, but as careful as I was to make sure that I put negative on the left and positive on the right, and double checked it and triple checked it when I was putting the bus bars on, I still found one cell that I had turned around. So, May, no, this is not a kiddie zone. I'm sorry, hon. I know you're super curious. I'm pretty sure I got them all right this time. I mean, I would have to because I've already assembled them and none of them have gone puff. So I'm pretty sure I got them right. Oh, something else. I don't know if I've shown this before, but yet another one of the things I love about the 3D printer is I designed and printed these little caps that are the right size to fit. I mean, I can't show you. Oh, yes, I can show you right here. These are designed to fit over and completely cover the bolt so that, well, I did it originally, and the reason why I just thought of this, because I used to just cover the batteries in cardboard. I had a lot of flack for that in the comments, which, I mean, fair. They were thinking, well, if there's heat, it's going to catch fire. Anyways, don't have loose connections, and that solved that problem. But I did the cardboard over the batteries because I was scared of the kitties. So then I ended up printing these, and oh wow, they have worked out like wonderfully. Editing Maddie will try to remember to put a link. Every time I come up with a design, and I make no claim to being great at doing 3D design, but if I create a design that I find useful, I put it up on MakerWorld. I think I'm there under Digimer, same, you know, D-I-G-I-M-E-R, is short for Digital Mermaid. Okay, shut up and let's start building, will you? B- goes to the battery main pack negative, P- goes to the output. Pack negative, I think it is. Battery negative and pack negative. I'm going to double check that. Just again, it's been a little while since I assembled a battery. But before I do that, what I want to do is check the voltages of each of these. Now, I found differences. Because I've assembled this in parallel, those would have all balanced out. So in theory, all of these should be very close to the same. Kind of wish I had the time and the load to drain this battery and charge it back up. What an absolute chaos that would be, in the best kind of way. Why are you not going on? Okay, the nut's fine. I must have some galling on that thread. Yep, that was it. Okay, there we go. Now, let's try this. So the first one is 3.325. The second one should be the same. 3.328. 3.330. Oh, I got a fair bit of a wild swing in this. 3.332. Oh dear. The reason for the oh dear is this has a 2 amp active balancer on here. Each one of these is 7,560 amp hours. By the sticker. They're a couple years old now, so they'd be down a little bit, but still, trying to actively balance that at 2 amps, it's gonna take forever. So now I have to decide, do I stop here? No, I'm not gonna make you watch this. Set up the X8 as a balancer, or as a charger, and bring... No, because if I do that, I'm not going to see how much power I've lost, and that's the whole purpose of this. Okay, I have a better idea. I am going to proceed with building this as a battery, as I had originally planned, and then I will set up the Quattro to do a initial bulk charge. And once it disconnects, I suppose at that point, I could use the X3 to bring it up, or the X8 to bring each one of these back up, because that I think I can do up to 30 amps. Okay, whatever, I'm getting too deep in the weeds. Just shut up and build this already, will ya? All right. If you've ever spent weeks upon weeks feeling incredibly, like, not clear-headed, and then you finally feel better again, the euphoria of feeling normal, it takes a very long time to come or to wear off. So if I seem a little giddy, it's just because my brain is working, and that is such a novel feeling. Enjoy your health if you've got it, because I'll tell you, it's gonna run out on all of us. One of these days, yeah, I got sick, that's fine, I got better. But it's all of our fate, barring sudden disaster, that eventually one day we're gonna get sick and we're not gonna get better. And I mention this in the context of the larger project because, you know, I turned 48 over the holidays. And, you know, some will say that's still pretty young. I kind of hope they're right. But I know when I was 20, I sure as hell didn't think 48 was young. Time's running out. If you're thinking of doing a project like this, and this gets back to the whole purpose of this channel from day one, if you've ever thought about doing something big and stupid, don't wait. You never know when that plot twist is going to come in your health, and the horizon that seemed far in the distance is suddenly very close. I say this because, in part, last month my mom's husband was diagnosed with cancer, and so recent that he hasn't started chemo yet. Don't take your health for granted. Don't put things off. Okay, so first things first, I gotta figure that out, but I can start assembling this. So this is gonna be main pack negative, positive, negative. So if I put this here to here, start putting the balance leads on for as ineffective as the damn thing's gonna be. Oh Lord, this is silly. I love it. I love it so much. When you're working really, really hard on a project and you've always been like, okay, what's the most efficient thing I can do next? What's the most efficient thing I can do next? And you finally take a little detour into silliness. It's fun. I highly recommend, 5 out of 5 stars. Confirmed, that is main pack negative, which I was pretty sure, but funny brain means take your time to figure it out and be absolutely sure. Before I continue, I should now be able to verify that this is 6 point something volts. 6.65, all right. Been a little while since I assembled a battery, which is making me nervous, which is probably a good thing. For a while there, I was assembling and disassembling so often that I was getting too comfortable, and I'm sure y'all know what that can lead to. God damn, this is stupid. I love it. As Peter Knowles would say it, I love it, I love it, I love it.
I love it, I love it, I love it.
Now I will test again, and this should be 9-ish, 10-ish volts. There we go, 9.98 volts. It's a perfect example of why I label them. I was sure I had grabbed the third one, and then I saw the label and it said B4, and I double checked, and of course I made a mistake. Label all the things, people. It is always worth it. Kitty interlude while I assemble batteries. So painfully cute. I'm gonna keep you zoomed out. I know it's bad cinematography, but I gotta keep her in the shot. She's just too much. I did not bring with me a smart shunt, so I have no way from the Victron perspective to... Brain, can you please work for 3 seconds? I have no way of monitoring the current from there, so I'm gonna make a note of where the battery is, and hopefully that'll let me track it. This is off. Okay. So now I should be able to measure this at 13 something. Okay. That is 13 volts. Just to make sure that there's no power. And I'm seeing 0 volts. Okay, so this is off. As always, check our BMS leads. So for anyone who hasn't watched the earlier build videos, you start with your balance leads and you should see everything step up in 3.3-ish volts. So 3.3, 6.6, 9.9, 13.3, 13.3. Okay, if you don't get this right, if you had crossed any of the wires over and you plug this in, your BMS is going to have a very bad day. I do have a screen, so I will get one of those. Okay, thermistors are plugged in. I had a little oopsie with one of the screens when it was on the boat. I hooked it when I was working in the engine bay and I ripped the screen connector off. But since then I've learned how to do surface mount soldering, so I should be able to fix it. If I put this behind the BMS, I can see the screen all the time, but then it's not fused or protected in any way. But it's only gonna, no, you blew up, you've started fires before. Okay, no, this is gonna go on the negative, on the output of the BMS. Is there anything else I am missing? I don't think so. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break, reposition everything so it's actually more visible, and I'll bring you right back, which for you is just, even though everything's dead, I'm treating it like it's alive, so I'm gonna be as careful as I can be moving these cables around. Let's see if I remember when it comes time to use a pre-charge resistor. I don't have the MK3 charger, so I'm gonna have to assume the profile on this was fine from last time I used it. Bring you up underneath. This housing, I believe, is bonded to ground. So I should be a lot, well, I'm on ground right now, but when I do the positive, I'm gonna have to treat this whole wrench as energized. Even though it is taped up, these old standoffs are broken and they're going to be going in the garbage soon. Okay, it's been a while, so let me go over this and make sure I've got this right. Main pack negative to battery minus. Balance leads I voltaged out and confirmed were good. I have the LCD panel plugged in, which is currently going through this switch. I have no idea if it's on or off, but the negative is on the output side, which goes to here. This here is the negative going into the charger. The positive is going to here. This positive is coming through the main disconnect switch, which is currently off. I need the pre-charge resistor now. How am I going to actually do this? Because the pre-charge resistor is not very long. Oh, I have some here. This is for another project I'm working on for like a year now, which should eventually become a video. But in the meantime, this can be the pre-charge resistor. I'm going to have to bypass to here, through this to here, and that should start charging it up. Oh, I suppose I should turn on the BMS first. Yes, let's do that. Okay, there's the screen. 13.3 volts. Now, actually, let me get my phone and start recording. Oh my dear, you are so curious, and I love that about you so much. Okay, there's the battery. Are you going to actually connect? Why are you not connecting? There we go. Okay, now let's see if I can remember this password. So currently we're telling it it's a 280 amp hour battery, and we're gonna have to slightly change that. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? It was. Now, can we actually put this number in? Don't let me down, Victron, or JK. 280 times 27 is 7,560. Sending failure. Okay, can I put 999? Yes, I can. Is it 1,000 that's too much? No, it allows that. How high can we go? Let's try 5,000. Oh, if it is a 8-bit number, it might be 1,024. So let's try 1,025. Nope, that was good. Okay, 5,000 is too high. 4,000? Nope. 3,000? 2,000? All right, we'll set it to 2000. Okay, so this is off. So now, where is the multimeter? Okay, now I should be able to still measure that from here. Yes, I can. Okay, but I should see nothing right now between here and here. I do not. Oh, I don't know why this is making me scared. Positive, bypassing the switch to positive. I don't know if you saw that, but it actually stuck. Did I get an overcurrent protection? No, I did not. I'm going to put this into charger only. Verify that I have 13 volts. This should be set to 12 amp max because I was last using it on the boat via an extension cord. I just clamped on and we're charging. Oh shit, hold on. I probably have it on the screen recording. Remaining capacity is, it thinks 1409.1 amp hour. Whatever it ends up as, is there going to be 600 amp hour that's going to go into this? I guess we'll see. This might end up being not the most scientific measurement. Well, anywho, let's get her going. There she goes. I said it was limited to 12 amp, but that's 12 amp on the AC inside, which should translate to 1440 watts, assuming I just spilled my tea. Assuming I'm getting 120 volts out. So it's gonna be around 1400 watts. I gotta spill that, or not gonna spill that. I gotta clean that up. Obviously, I'm gonna pause here and I'm gonna let this charge. I'm also gonna cover all this back up again because Miss Curious here is now going to be around 12 volts. Now, 13 volts, whatever, it's 13.3 volts right now. It's not gonna hurt her. Kepler is not curious enough, he'll stay away from that. But still, I'm gonna cover all this up and let it charge. I am going to do my level best to track the amp hours as it charges. And if it gets close to 2000, I'll see if I can, I don't know, I'll figure it out and I will get back to you. Kitty for calibrate. Oh, May, you're so cute. May for calibration. Let's check to see if anything's warming up. That is the wall outlet, which is currently probably pulling close to its limit. But even then, I'm looking at 23 Celsius, 24 Celsius, that's fine. One of the things I've learned since doing this is that's not a hot spot, that is a reflection off of the metallic bus bars. Infrared light bounces just like visible light. Okay, that was the imprint from where I was sitting on the floor doing the recording. 17.7. So you can see we're running pretty nice and cool in here. The BMS is 17 degrees. Got a little bit of heat through the switch, but absolutely nothing to be concerned about. I mean, by comparison, now May's up on the chair. Oh, hey Kepler. So it's looking pretty good. You can see that is where the heat register is running under the floor. So the house heater was just running. That is so cool. I will never get tired of infrared cameras. I'll keep an eye on her, but so far, so good. It took a few days, and what do you think of my fantastic kitty protection? So one of the issues I noticed was it was charging, well, first of all, this was charging at a slow rate. I was only getting 18 amps, 18.53 amps on average out of this charger. But because I don't have the Mark III USB cable, I couldn't configure it to see, so I just let it go. One of the issues I realized was going to happen though is, if you recall, well, if you could recall, for you it was seconds ago, because I was only able to set the official capacity of the battery to 2000 amp hours, and I think it started charging at 1400, something like that. It was going to hit 2000 before it finished charging. By how much? I had no way of knowing. To make sure I could still do the math, and these numbers are not going to be as accurate as I wish they would, but they're still revealing. what I ended up doing was setting up a time lapse with my phone, showing the clock time. I ran the charger for 3 hours, almost to the second, looked at how many amp hours went into the battery according to the BMS, divided by 3, and that's where I got my 18.53 amp hours per hour. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. So then what I could do is, when I started the time lapse last night, I took a screenshot of how many amp hours were in the battery, and of course what time it was, and I just let it go. This morning, it was full. So I pulled the time-lapse video, which I'm probably showing here, did the math, which I am now showing here because I did it in the Discord, and it worked out to about 8%. Over 12 months, probably closer to 13 months, these batteries have been sitting, over 100 of them. So that's a pretty good number for being able to, like, any one deviation isn't going to make a big difference because it's such a massively parallel bank. That would be largely smoothed over. So I can confidently say that it's about 8% discharge over 12 to 13 months with the cells completely disconnected. When I left the batteries running completely on their own with the BMSs on at various settings, did I ever turn that into a video? I don't know if I did or not. Anyways, it was like 6 months and the batteries were dead. So much so that one of them dropped down to 2 volts and triggered a couple videos because I was trying to figure out if I had damaged that cell. So the BMS consumption, if you leave the BMS on and you're putting your batteries into storage, holy crap, does it make a difference. 3 of the 4 were close to full, but one of them was a fair bit lower. So what I'm going to do is set up my trusty old hacky-majack 3.2 volt charger and charge up whichever row is currently low. So pack 2, which I believe is this row right here. Now, I have a feeling it's not going to be a whole lot of power. I don't think I'm going to worry about tracking how much goes into it. The SD card is there, so it's going to track it. And if it takes a lot longer than I expected, I will pull that in and put the numbers in and change that 8%. But already the key thing I was looking for was how much did they discharge? 8% in a year? Not a problem. So everything is set up, and every time I try to use this charger, I have to stop and remember how to do it. So I thought that might be entertaining watching me struggle. So now you're back. Also, in case I screw something up and blow something up. So for anyone who might not have been around back in the day, this is a Fujitsu 800 watt server power supply. There's a video where my friend Andrew helps me figure out how to jumper it to get it to come on when there's no server plugged into it. Okay, so first of all, the breakers are green. So now I should be able to turn this on. Hear that power up. This is booting. It's currently reading 3.343, so I've got the balance leads hooked up properly. How do I do this again? Hun, I need you to stay back from this, okay? I know you're very curious. Having trouble seeing through her head? Oh, you're so cute. Oh, you're so terribly cute. I don't know if you can see that, but it's 12.287, 0 amps, 0 amp hour. How do I get it to start? There we go. Right, I remember this as being a problem before. If I tried starting it before turning on the breaker, it just didn't work. Okay, we're pushing 3.8 volts. It's currently sitting at 3.346 volts. So I'm just going to leave it be. Let's do another time lapse. So it's been about 2 days. It's the middle of the workday, so I'm making this very quick, and that's why the lighting's not set up. But we are getting very close to finally finishing off this string. But you can see we're at 3.6 volts. It's going to cut off at 3.65, so that should be pretty soon. We're down to just 4 amps going into it. Once that's done, off camera, I am going to top up the other 3 as well. And then everything will be perfectly top balanced. I can pull this apart and get ready to install it in the boat. I genuinely expected that to take a lot longer. It's been like 2 minutes since I went back to work. That brings this 3rd string almost up to the same as these ones. I am now going to move these over and start this charging and blah, 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 blah. back in a minute, and then I think we're at the end of the video. All right, and just like that, we're done. These three, as expected, took very little time to top up. So all 108 cells are now top balanced. Obviously, I don't need them all to be top balanced with each other, but at least it means no matter now, however I form the packs, because I got to pull out those weak cells, whatever I do when I build the batteries, they're top balanced already. So, yay. I was talking to a friend of mine who works in the battery industry and uses these lithium batteries all the time. How much do you think the internal consumption was? And he said, guessing offhand, 1 to 4%. So, yeah, I'm really happy with this. Now, these batteries are 3 and 4 years old. The Shenzhen are 4 years old. The other ones are 3 years old. So I'm probably looking at 6% and 8% calendar aging capacity loss. After I get the batteries back together and get the boat in the water, I'll do some capacity tests to see how much I've actually lost in that period of time. But for now, I have a new number, a number that I don't know if anyone else has just left this many batteries sitting untouched for so long. So maybe this is useful to lots of people, or maybe it's useful to only a few nerds like me. Either way, I'm the Digital Mermaid. Bye! Oh. Aren't you curious? Like, Ma, what is this, and can I eat it? That little tail.